C2Ts, integrity, do the right thing.
Right?
I think we all live in integrity here, right? So, anyone having issues with their integrity?
All the time, even when no one's looking.
The other agent.
And as we get forward into the NAR settlement and changes that happen, you have to have more integrity with your buyers too, right? So, integrity, do the right thing. I'm telling you, that's gonna be our number one standard. We have elected abatements that have lived by that standard, so we want to make sure you live by integrity within your business and with your client. Just closed. Congratulations, Carmichael, 6 closes.
Nice.
Nice word. Michael Taylor, 4 closes. Oh, my sorry, Kevin Moore, 4. Sherry Aguilar, 3. Laura Miller, 3. Alicia Platt, 3. Twan, Carthy, Julian, 2, as well as Janelle, Jake, Eternity, Desiree, Afton, all 2, as well as Amethyst, Selma, Sheila, Scott, Rich.
Rich, Pam, Nana, Lindsay, Jesse, John. I think Carlos, 1.
Congratulations to
Awesome.
everyone who got the.
Yay.
I know people are saying it's a hard market out there, but spring has sprung. It is definitely, if you haven't seen the buyers, they are crazy out there right now. We're seeing multiple offers on properties, at least with a nice property, right? So
We told the buyers from that program.
yeah, you went Dream for All hits. Oh,
Well, once, even the ones that are waiting to see if they can improve it, they don't, those people are gonna come into.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
so wait for Dream for All because it's going to be crazy. And it's going to be like, we have 20% down. Let's do this, right? So somebody. You have to click back on it. This, you have to click back on it.
Oh, sorry.
All tapped.
Nope, let's go all the way up. Congrats.
There you go.
Oh, there, not it. Alright, save the date, Tuesday, April 20th, Bruce and I are doing closing deal navigating our settlement forms. Okay, there's a lot of new forms coming out, I mean, a lot. So, the California Association of Realtors was doing a form release already for June or July implementation, they're gonna announce in June. And because of the NAR settlement, they issued an update to the update, so we have additional forms coming online. We're gonna go over this class, we'll be doing this class regularly, once a month, just to help you get a data form, but there's forms for addressing the buyer side they're changing the buyer broker agreement to reflect the NAR settlement. They're also, putting in forms when you write an offer, if you need to go directly to the seller to try and get a commission for the buy side, they're having a new form for that as well. And then also on the listing side, when you're not offering commissions, or how do you do that as well? So we're gonna go over, we have a stack about that thick of forms that, and think of this like, COVID and PED, right? Like, remember all the PED forms? We're gonna go a little bit of PED form here on this until we get it settled down about how we handle the buy side commission. But once that gets settled down, I think we're good there. But right now, there's a lot of forms that are gonna come along. So we're gonna talk about how to do those forms. But today, don't worry, we're gonna talk about not how to do the forms, we're gonna talk about how to get clients to a buyer consult and actually get them to sign the forms. So we're gonna talk about forms on that class and do that. Also, Jake, our real Jake here is going how to get your offer accepted in the competitive market. As he just said, when Dream for All comes and all those buyers hit the market, it's going to be crazy. As some of you who are doing listings already know, if you have a good listing with a great price, you are getting multiple offers. And we're getting back to that crazy but 7% rates. But we are still getting back to that point where you're gonna have multiple offers. And I just want to know, I know a lot of people say the sky is gonna fall, all this, all this stuff is gonna make the market tank. And you can see from this market now, with 7% rates, right? And we still have, it always comes down to supply and demand. In the end, you can do all you want with rates, but if you have a lack of supply, even a mediocre buyer demand, if you have a lack of supply, you will have multiple offers of competitive. And that's why CAR is still projecting a 6% increase in values this year. So
Part of this too is like we have a 33 step that our partners follow, right? So I'll share with you about the top 10 on that, but I think two is this piece is going to also have you be able to say, hey, I'd like to share with you our X number of step way that we're helping our buyers get their offers accepted in multiple offer situation 84% of the time. So we'll go through how to present that as well too, and the steps that we use to doing it at a high level, so.
Yeah, so excellent, because if you're on if you're a heavy buyer side, just know you're gonna have to be good at getting offers accepted in multiple offer situations. Jake's an expert at it. I did a long time I got accepted offers over 17 other offers, 24 other offers, so you can get accepted, but you're gonna have to show value to the other side and create that relationship with the listing.
Our record's 57, so.
You tell your number.
That beats my record. Next team meeting, not next week, but the following weekend, I'm super excited. We're gonna have Andrew Piecer come in. He's our home.com rep and CoStar rep, but he's gonna come and talk about home.com. I don't know if you know about home.com.
Yep.
They're owned by CoStar. CoStar just bought Matterport, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, they paid 1.6 billion and bought Matterport, so.
I'm
And they're thinking about, I think they're gonna tie Matterport as a free service to agents that advertise. So they're going all in. They ad spent over $1 billion so far on advertising to push their platform, and they just announced actually that they are number 2 in all you visitors to their platform. They passed Realtor.com and they passed Redfin, and they're now only second to Zillow. And most project by the end of the year or early next year that they will surpass Zillow in number of
Shut them down.
and that number of things. But they are unique in one way. Well, actually, in a very unique way, is that they, if you know Zillow or Redfin or any of those, they take people's listings and syndicate them to the website, and they put other agents that pay them money to advertise on those listings, even though there are other agents listening for other purposes. You all know that, right? So,
Say that again, John? I'm sorry.
so the way Zillow works, and really hijacks.
Yeah.
Personally, I think realtors the bills. We talk about NAR and how they build this. Right now, Zillow syndicates all your listings for MetroList and anywhere you put your listings across the nation, and they put them on their platform, and then you pay money to them, and some of us do, and they put your name. So if someone says, I'm interested in a listing, a buyer goes on there, they click it, it goes to another agent.
Well, that ain't.
Actually, it goes to a now call center that gets, and then they hand it off. And that's all the models, Redfin, Realtor.com, and Zillow do that as well. And actually, we're the only real estate industry country that does it that way. Every other syndication firm does it straight to listings. So Homes.com is fundamentally different because they're changing everything. They said, we're gonna go differently. I think that's why they have a lot of traction. They are not paying any agent can't just pay to have advertised there. That you pay the agent for your listings, and when you get on there, it's only you.
And the sign up price is basically based off of your production.
So
They
it's
look at your listing production.
how many listings you price it based on listings, because they're gonna feature your listings to get you leads.
Oh.
And instead of advertising other agents on your listing, they're only gonna advertise you, the listing agent themselves. So, and this is something that the consumer has said in their wants and needs is, we're tired of trying to think we're talking to the listing agent of the property when we actually get shuffled to another agent that has nothing to do.
Interesting.
Right? And they said we would strongly prefer, if we want to talk to the listing agent, that we talk to the listing agent. And I suspect, especially with NAR settlement coming around and buyer broker agreements, there's gonna be more interest in talking directly to the listing agent. And that's why I really part of the NAR settlement changes are gonna see more dual agency transactions, just because the buyers are gonna go directly to the listing agent and the consumer. So Andrew's coming, he's gonna talk about what Homes.com does, how they promote to help agents listings promote their own listings, and how to get leads off of your own listings, right? And they do a good job. I think they had 1.6 million unique viewers last month in March. So he's coming to talk about that, just what they're doing, because it is a unique way that the other people are not doing things like this based on their listing. So that'll be at the next TV meeting in 2 weeks. So. City today. Oh, sorry.
Dude, martial arts.
We're doing martial arts, yeah.
What?
Alternative.
So April 27th, this weekend, if you haven't signed up, where's our shred day?
Right there.
We need volunteers, please sign up for shred day. We're gonna pass this around. Please sign up if you haven't signed up. It's a great event. We're gonna have a lot of people there, and they just drive by in cars. We shred a bunch of stuff. It's from the shred truck.
Day.
And so please show up to that. We need volunteers. Please sign up.
John, be sure to tell them we don't have e-waste.
What?
We do not have e-waste this year.
Oh, we don't have e-waste, no e-waste this year. We were trying to do e-waste, and then they give us a big long list of what they wouldn't accept.
They were nickel.
Like,
We're looking at a dime at every item.
It was like, unless you had like a TV, they're not gonna show.
We're not taking it.
Yeah, the list the entire time said 2 banker's boxes back.
Two now, not one.
No, 2 banker boxes. It was always 2.
Brought 4.
Steve, no-
Six, see,
See, I'm just saying.
Steve always brings it out of the club.
If you don't volunteer to unload, we won't care how much you unload.
Oh, that's good.
Right there.
Hey, Francine,
What
if
happened?
you wanna chat, we're gonna pass it on the list, the sign up list for volunteers for Red Day. Francine, can you briefly just
Absolutely.
discuss what we're gonna do at each location?
Absolutely. We have 2 nonprofits that we're going to assist and help this year. One is the Stanford Settlement with Julie, and that's on West El Camino and off of Northgate and West El Camino, that way. The other way, the other way. What we're doing there is we're moving furniture, tables and chairs out of one large area into another area. And then Dale Madden is coming to clean and buff the floors for us. And then we're gonna put all the furniture back. And then we're gonna go walk across to the scene, to the kids' student center, a teen center. And we're gonna move all the furniture that's in the teen center out onto the basketball court
Without the kids.
without the kids. Yeah, the kids aren't gonna be there. And Dale will do his thing, and then we'll move all the furniture back in. So that's Stanford Settlement. We have about 10 or 14 people for that, and I think that'll be enough for Stanford Settlement. Where we really need the help is the Boys and Girls Club, and that's on G and 12th. And oh wait, both of them have parking as well. Both have parking lots. At G and Boys and Girls Club, we are going to be sanding and painting. How fun! So wear your icky clothes. Wrought iron fence in the front. And then also there's some graffiti on the back brick wall that they would like cleaned up. And if anybody's into window washing, they would like that as well. And we need probably about 25 people for Boys and Girls Club.
Okay, we're about halfway there.
Okay, so I need people.
I know that.
So please sign up for Red Day. We do need about 50 to 60 volunteers for Red Day. So
Yeah.
Bring your kids, bring your spouse.
I don't care who you bring.
Anyone?
Good deal. Good deal.
So this.
Oh, wait. Red Day. Yvonne, thank you. You're welcome. There's $100 toward lunch that we're having. I know that is Mexican. So, after, we're done at Boys and Girls Club, about 1 o'clock, we'll have lunch. Okay?
Wait, where's lunch?
At the Boys and Girls Club.
When is lunch?
We don't know yet.
Sounds
Looking for a sponsor.
I'm
I
hungry
need a-
right now.
I need a sponsor. Rich.
Talk to the culture-
How about you? Huh?
talk to the culture committee.
I am the culture committee.
One other event I want to highlight, Vince is now doing on Mondays from 12 to 1 a command training. It's going through each of the modules. Now, we've had a lot of complaints, like we get a lot of complaints that say, Vince, I need help with this, I need help with this, I need help with this. Well, if you're not taking the time to actually learn how to use it, I'm going to say, go watch that video, because like, he did it, just did training. So, okay. Red Day, we talked about volunteer, please. Don't forget to order your Red Day shirts, please. It's first come, third serve, we will run out. And we won't have a Red Day shirt, so please sign up.
Megan, this year, did you do it where it wasn't date specific, so if anyone did purchase a shirt?
Correct,
they could
yeah,
wear it
it's not, it doesn't have special.
a year or anything like
So
You're
that?
$20 if you
and
want
on the
Red Day
logo.
shirts.
Red Day.
Normal.
Yeah.
Red Day.
I can't wear mine.
Question, can we order them?
Honestly, I do like the throwback t-shirts, they are like, wait, here was that, yeah.
So we've
Yeah,
already
eight,
ordered the
state
t-shirts,
It's-
t-shirt orders were due on Monday, but I did order a few extras. So that's why if you didn't order your shirt and you still want one, talk to the front desk, because we do have a couple in inventory that we can give you.
But I did order it, so that's what.
You're good, yeah, you ordered it, you're good.
Just-
I'm super excited, we wanted to spend most of our time with our guests, these two people, DaRosa and Rich Gibbens, and we're bringing them up because both our teams have done, they're doing buyer broker agreements. And doing buyer consultations with buyer broker agreements with all our buyers, even before NAR was happening. And, I know a lot of you are concerned about how I actually show value and get them there, right? And so, and you know, that's gonna be the way now, so just so you know, and I wanna preface this a little bit. If you are an agent that never did a buyer consultation, and you just used your value of showing homes and just try to get people to go show homes now, the minute you have to use your lockbox to open up that door, you have to have a buyer broker agreement signed before you can do that, because that's now an agent, you have now to do an agency with that client, right? The minute you do that, so that activity of just using your lockbox access as your value proposition to develop the relationship is gonna go away pretty soon, like July, so you better get used to talking to people first and convincing them to have a buyer consultation with you, getting them to sign one. So welcome Jake, welcome Rich.
That's my good thing.
Yeah,
What's that?
he's saying good thing.
On the way there. Give me my side. I just don't share. The first question, we'll open up the questions, how long you guys been doing buyer broker agreements with your buyers?
We've been doing it over a year now. We put that out, you and I talked with Bruce, and he's like, hey, this is probably coming down the pipeline, I will start doing it now. So over a year. Without fail, every buyer broker, every buyer consultation we go on, we are having to sign.
We did it, we started preparing for this a while back ago, last year, 2023, and so really heavily, probably last 6 months, but we were still prior to.
Yeah. And my question is, it's a fundamental change to go from not doing that to suddenly getting people to show up for a buyer broker appointment, right? And most, I'm sure a lot of buyers are like, why do I need to do that? Why can't we just go, give me to the lender, get you approved, let's go, right? And how did that, what changes you had to make in mindset or with your conversations? And this is getting pretty deep, but what conversations do you having with the buyers to change and convince them to have a buyer consultation?
I'll preface, go back to that question you asked. We didn't actually do the card form the bonus side, but for the last 7 years, 8 years, we've actually, every buyer, we do a buyer consultation and we get them to sign some type of loyalty.
Okay.
So I think to get them to that point, I think it starts with really good conversations with people. You know, I think a lot of people focus on, I'll call it solution hopping, right? And one of the things that we really focus on is asking good questions and really figuring out someone's motivation and why they're doing this at a high level so we can serve them the best, right? So solution hopping is, hey, someone tells you interest rates are too high, and you go to them right out the gate and say, hey, well, you got 2 1 buy downs, 3 1 buy downs, this, and that. However, instead of going deep onto what's their concerns with the interest rates, right? Could be a number of things. And at the same time as to get them to a buyer consultation, we take everything we've learned through a conversation and incorporate it into, hey, why don't we sit down? It sounds like getting into Natomas, getting closer to your parents and getting your kids into the school district is a very important goal for you. Why don't we sit down and have a strategy session? What we'll do is we'll talk about the market. I like to educate my clients, make sure they know what are most agents. We'll also go through the process, including different options for capital financing. And most importantly, we'll figure out what it is exactly you're looking for. Those Tuesday, what's it work better for you? And now it's jam packed with take it back to their emotion plus benefits for you, plus value of what we're gonna do. And then it's much more likely that they're gonna sit down.
Okay, excellent. So I want you to hear that. You can see he role played that. When he's talking to them, he's very much putting their goals back to them, right? Getting the emotion buy-in on it. And he's telling exactly what's going to happen at the buyer consult to show the value that is needed. Because most buyers don't want to do it because they don't know what's going to happen. You know, they don't know that there's value in a buyer consultation. And so you have to dictate that, right? To them.
I don't ever use appointment. The word appointment, nobody likes appointments, I go to the doctor, I get it, right? So it's a conversation, strategy session, and also too, the value proposition may change, right? If I'm talking to a sell by, it may be, hey, it sounds, you know, let's sit down, I'll take a look through your home. I'll give you a good idea of what that house value is, that way you can make an educated decision when you like the purchase.
Yeah, in short form, what we've been talking, I mean, me, Melinda Taylor, is people won't remember what you do for them, but they'll always remember how you made them feel. You know, what Jake just said there was like, hey, sounds like you wanna get to Northern Homes be closer to your family. That's the feeling aspect. They don't care that you know how to read a contract, write a good deal, anything like that. He said also, we're gonna get you to understand more about the market than most agents do. So his value prop is understanding their exact needs and what drives them. Why do they want to purchase? Why do they want to sell? Where do they want to go? How do they want to get there? What does that look like? And when you tie it back in the motivation, the feeling aspect for you, they're more privy to work with you because you listen, right? God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth. So when you listen to people talking, actually rephrase that back to them, right? They're always gonna question price, interest rates right now, inspections, oh, this property needs 30,000 to get here, blah, blah, whatever their objection is to Solution Hub. When you go back to the motivation and listen, and treat these people like they're your mom or your dad, and you're sitting on a park bench talking about life, and you're real with them, listening to their needs and their true desires. The rest is just formality. They don't need to know every little aspect of a contract. And I cut my teeth on walking people through what an RPA was. No one cares.
Nobody cares.
No.
They don't care.
No.
They don't care.
But
They just
tie
want-
it back to.
Yeah, they're paying you to do the RPA.
Yeah, they don't-
Right, here's the numbers you need to know. Here's our inspection contingency. Here's our vendors, our vendor list. This is how we do it. Totally, I understand that the floors are 1970s green carpet, they smell like cat. I got a guy for that. Don't worry about it. We'll ask the seller to provide a credit later on, but that's totally outside of the feeling aspect.
I've only had one client ask me to go through paragraph by paragraph, the RPA. And he was an engineer. Swear to God. And I was new, brand new. I literally said to him, I don't even know what that means. So I came back on it.
What is the fiduciary?
Yeah. What is dual agency? I'm like, yeah, I'll get back on that. No, I'm just kidding. But some of it I really didn't know, and we learned it together. He was pretty cool about it, but only once.
And how did you feel?
He felt important. He felt like he was the top of the world, and I paid attention.
Multi type.
You're the most
Oh, God,
important
yes.
So I do want to put a pin in this a little bit because those conversations you have with the buyer to give the buyer consultation is vitally important, that they won't show up unless you show value and give them and tell them what's gonna happen that is valuable to them. So that's key. I know, I just wanna role play a little bit, so you talk about this, Jake, but like, I know we get a lot of interest rate objections when you talk to buyers. So what do you specifically say when they bring up an interest rate objection about going forward and buying or meeting with you?
Well, I think the biggest thing, and I share this with all my clients, is when's the best time for you to buy a house is when it makes financial sense for you and it's gonna improve living situation. I hate when I hear people, it's a great time to buy.
Yeah.
Well, it's a great time to buy it for someone, right? But it may not be a great time to buy it for you. So that's where the understanding what their true motivation and what's happening with them is vitally important. So if you hit me with hey, interest, like I'm on the phone.
Yeah, I know, remember, hey, Jake, I saw you, thanks for calling back, I know I'm looking at problem, but you know what, I think I'm gonna wait till next year or maybe a couple years, this interest rate is crazy, I don't wanna pay that kind of payment.
I'll run a quick framework. We use the objection handler framework. It works with any objection. So I would ask you, hey, John, hey, totally heard it. Out of curiosity, what specifically about interest rates search?
7%, man, that's gonna be a high payment.
Okay, yeah.
So we'll pay more, I'm gonna be a high payment.
7%. Okay, great. So you're concerned with the payments?
Yeah.
Okay. Also, is there anything else that's concerning you with what's happening right now in this market?
Oh, man, if I could buy, that's our dream, I'd love to make that happen, but, you know, it's just expensive, right? So
So what I'm hearing you say, whenever you do it, you want to make sure you're making a sound financial decision.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Hey, why don't we do this? Why don't we get together? Let's take a look at this and let's go ahead and see if it is a sound decision. And regardless of what now or in the future, at least show us some good information. And if the conversation goes well, we move forward, we can. And if not, that's right, because you've got some great information. So when it's time to buy, do afternoons or evenings better. So the first thing I do is I repeat back to them and hear what they're saying, right? Since there's that you're hearing. In addition, when I ask you about interest rates, usually you're good at, I call it That mapping, right? People are thought, so they're gonna continue to give you information, and that's what you want more information. I will then dig on the objection, what specifically about interest rates concerns you. You can hit me with, hey, interest rates are super high, and I think the market's gonna crash. Okay,
Yeah,
that's a different
Conversation,
conversation. At that point, I transition it, so I can't handle interest rates, I can't handle the market, I can't handle anything. But what I can handle is there's three usually that it goes to, it's a good financial decision, I can handle that, let's see if the kids, it's a good financial, so I transition their objection down into, hey, it sounds like you wanna make a good financial decision whenever you do it.
Yeah.
So now that's a conversation, me and him will be interested in getting to get together, then I close for the appointment.
Correct.
And I also isolate, is there, aside from anything, make sure it's a good financial decision for you, is there anything else that's holding back right now? No, great, let's go ahead and we can talk about it.
I was gonna tap into that. He isolated the objection, repeated back so he heard and listened, not just heard, but he listened. Isolated it. And he gave it to the buyer. He put the ball in the buyer's court, saying, I'm not sure if it's right for you. Let's see if it makes sense now or in 12 months. Right? He didn't isolate it at a specific time, but if it works now, we want to move it forward. Totally. It gives the buyer the power to make sure they're making the financially sound decision. You can't make a financially sound decision without supporting evidence. So he assumes the close, pushes for that, and okay, Tuesday or Wednesday next week, 3 o'clock.
The problem is I could go into a half-hour conversation with you, telling me about different programs that are offered out there, what's happening. But really, I call it letting the data into the heavy lifting, because when I present to you in person, you're gonna be more engaged with, I'm gonna lose you in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Start chatting.
Different over and stuff like that.
Yeah, you're about 3 months, what?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But when we put it, and I can draw visually, most people are visual people, so them seeing it visually is a huge benefit for them. I call it this close works. It's a proposition for a meeting, right? It works, it's called the soft close. Hey, why don't we do this? Let's get together, let's have a conversation. And if it makes sense for you and your family, we can move that conversation forward. If not, that's okay too. At least you have enough great information to make a good decision in the future. Super simple, it works incredibly well, and it's our go-to on a team.
So raise your hand if you've had any buyer consultations on the phone objecting with the objection of interest.
How many of you are telling loan programs over the phone? Trying to install them with data and all this stuff.
And are you earning their actual trust, just giving them information without understanding?
No,
You gotta bring it.
Right. Guilty is charged, right? My hand didn't go down.
you gotta get them in front of you, they gotta get in front of you, gotta be in front of you.
Gary,
No, yeah, you gotta listen to it, right? You gotta get them in the door. You're right, because unless you're in face to face, you're not gonna get the loyalty. You're not getting excited.
Gary told us right after COVID was ending, interest rates shot up. He said, you gotta get belly to belly. And you're not belly to belly with people on the phone explaining what a 2-1 buy down is.
I'll give you a great example. We have what we call a bulk account with our team. It's just, I call them orphan beats. They came into our world somehow, some way. I called a transaction and I helped the client. I called them earlier in December to close the engine. They closed on a house. I saw in the comments that the interest rates are too high, that people had talked to them before, right?
Yeah.
However, when I called them, I asked them, I said, well, what are you looking for? Like, what are you looking for? We're looking for a duplex. Oh, wow, duplex, that's interesting. Tell me more about that. What are you looking for a duplex? Well, he goes, I've got my father and his son on one side, and then my dad is going to live on the other side. I said, it's some multi-generational living. Yeah. Okay. What's, and he told me that payments were too high. I said, okay. So let me ask you this question. Are you renting right now? It's like, yeah. I said, what do you pay? He goes, $2,600 a month. I said, are your the other family that's moving to renting? Yeah. What do they pay? Oh, it's $3,000 a month. Okay, so you're paying like $5,600. We can get you into a home or a duplex for a lot less than that. You'll save money, plus you own it. But no one had asked the questions, and that's what asking good questions to uncover how is what they're trying to do. Because I could have just easily said, hey, gotcha, I'll follow up with you, right? Good old follow,
Yeah.
right? I go deep on everybody, whenever someone, listens to me or shadows, they're like, what'd you learn? They're like, dude, you don't talk. I go, that's what you did.
And if you have trouble going deep, I personally do what I call a 3x3, meaning I try to go 3 deep on everything. If they say I want this, I try to go 3 deep on one, right? Try to get real, and that's just a marker for me to know that I went far enough with it to understand what this.
I think I listen to, well, if it feels like a weird question to ask, you should probably ask.
Yeah, you should.
How do you deal with the veterans that are angry with the government and
Oh,
don't want to, just like,
What
I
is
don't
that?
wanna use my VA, I don't wanna deal with the government.
Use that.
Yeah, I have yet to experience where a veteran doesn't want to take advantage of lower interest rates and zero down.
Yeah. And no,
And whether they go FHA, let them know the government's involved. Freddie and Fannie are on.
Yeah, whatever loan they're gonna have, the government's like,
Unless they're doing private money, unless they're on private money, the government's involved. So, for veterans, I'd love to sit down one on one and talk to you about that, to see what's actually going on, right? Coming from someone that doesn't trust the government very high, right? We can ask some questions to get a little better.
let's go sideways.
That's different. Okay, now, we talked with them, we got an appointment. Now, I don't know about you, but on our team, when we first implemented this, we were like, okay, great, we showed the value and everything, we got the appointment, and we had a low show up rate. And we only fixed that by doing some things between, we set the appointment till the time the appointment actually happened, we started implementing something. Rich, you wanna start with that, and Jake, what do you do between the appointment set to appointment had that you do to make sure that they show up? So
Our number one is how far out is the appointment and why is it that far out? We have technology now that allows for easy appointments if the buyer's coming from another continent, let alone a different city. Take advantage and make it easy. Step one. Step two, also, if you gotta go to them,
Oh,
go. Go get belly to belly. We do have a high show up rate of coming into the office. And part of that is going deep with their conversations and showing up with value and knowledge ahead of time. Hey, I'll tell you what we're gonna go ahead and do. We're gonna set down a strategy session for you at Tuesday at 3 o'clock. How does that look for your schedule? Right? I try not to set anything further than a week. If there's a week out, okay, well, it sounds like we're not in a real position where we wanna move right, ready, willing, and able. We gotta answer that question, is how far out is the appointment? Now, if there's circumstances that, family or life or vacations or whatever, okay, great. And you know what, I'll pencil you in for this time. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna follow up with you every Tuesday, up until that time, right? And if you know what they're looking for, they're wanting to get pre-approved, 3-way text with your lender, call the lender, hey, this is so, here you go, reach out, have them build that trusting relationship with your lender. If they're ready to get pre-approved right then, and then you can talk to them about when they come to the appointment, hey, we're just gonna go over a few things, I want you to know what's going on in the market, what we're looking for, and while you're here, we can actually look at houses and schedule a time for us to go see them so we can have that.
yeah, if you get pre-approved.
If you get pre-approved, if you're getting pre-approved ahead of time.
To give them incentive to get pre-approved, so we can schedule.
Right.
Also, I wanna know, we reiterate the value, so when we set an appointment, our team, but this is what we reiterate with the email and the text thing. Hey, this is what we're gonna do about the value, here's the lender information, so they just have that. We also set a calendar appointment and invite it on their email, so that it hits a notification on their phone, when they get it.
I think it's important too, when you have that relationship with the lender, that's your partner.
Oh,
Your
yes.
partners, you should be partnering up and knowing what's going on, especially when you're sending them that referral. They jump on the phone, you jump on the phone, they're jumping on the phone.
Yeah,
they
exactly.
have your back.
If we're sending a group text with this buyer, they're ready to get pre-approved. Another big question too that I found a little bit over a year ago as well, when talking to potential buyers, is how many Saturdays do you want to spend with me looking for homes?
oh, I love that.
The answer should be 1. And most of the time it should be 0, right? I don't really want to spend time with you looking at homes. We don't want to go shopping and looking around. We want to buy something, right? Cool. So when we go into that consultation, we're looking at properties, or we get to the stage where they're pre-approved and looking at properties.
I'm not one to spend a lot of time driving around the properties we don't wanna look at anyway, because it's in the neighborhood they don't wanna live. So if you're open to different areas, why don't we do this? You're gonna get the list of homes that you're gonna look at. In your evening time, drive by and make sure you wanna see it. Because how many homes do you wanna see where we're spending 20-30 minutes gonna go see on drive time, because everything in Sacramento is 20-30 minutes away. Drive by and let me know if that's an area you wanna live in or not. If it's not, we're not even gonna spend any more time other than what you just did, because that location doesn't work for you.
Okay, Jake, so. Appointment set to appointment had, what do you guys do?
We had an issue with this probably about 3 years ago, so we came up with just a plan. So it starts with the conversation. So at the end of the conversation, hey, John, I'm looking really looking forward to meet with you. Here's what I'm gonna send you a calendar invite. And what I need you to do is if you would just accept it for me, so that way I'm on your calendar, you're online, so we have that confirmed, right? Back to his point, we work to the furthest out we want to set is absolute furthest is 48 hours. You're trying to get within 24 hours, so that's the version. So I let them know, and then in addition, also I'm going to send you another. We created just like a listing. We have a kind of pre-buyer
Packet, right?
Pre-buyer packet.
Yeah.
And it has information about just really light, not super in depth, but what are contingencies? What is this? Here's a contract. What's this? Whatever. So I said, and I say, hey, take a look at this, and it's a link, and then so we send that out to them. Afterwards, what I also do is I shoot him a text. Hey, I'm really looking forward to meeting with you. Hey, do me a favor, when you go through and look at the buyer package I sent you, come up with a list of questions, because I'm gonna invest a bunch of time into getting ready for a meeting, and I wanna make sure it's as valuable as possible for you. Let me know what questions you have, just write it down. So I give them homework. I also tell them that I'm gonna invest a bunch of time into our meeting, so that they feel guilty if they cancel me. In addition to that, if I haven't seen them, and the words I use too, at the end, I always ask them, when I'm setting an appointment, hey, what's a good time that you can commit to? Commit instead of a good time that was your event. So then also, if I haven't seen them accept the calendar invite, because you always see it, I text them the next day. Hey, just want to make sure. I blame it on tech, right? Hey, I'm gonna have some issues with my email. Hey, did you have to get that calendar? I sent you, right? Boom. And then I'm continuing to follow up until they accept it. And then day of the morning of, again, another text. Hey, I'm super excited to meet with you today. We're gonna have an incredible meeting. I invested a bunch of time into getting ready for it. We have a lot of value. Look forward to seeing it today. I never ask them if it's again, if it's a good time. Hey, I'm looking forward to connecting.
So I will say that if you try to implement this and don't have a set to had system between there to keep the value there, keep them interested, you will have a low show up rate. And we experienced that when we first started. We had to implement a lot of that to make sure that the show up rate for the buyer consult that they showed the value there.
Yeah, it's just, Maxwell said best, right? Systems make the ordinary short.
So just make sure you have a system of how I'm gonna follow up the meeting, how I'm gonna set the calendar invite, how I'm gonna can really show the value and confirm that appointment to make it forward, right? So.
Go back and rewatch this video yesterday when I was talking with Jake, spent 20 minutes writing. So if you didn't catch all that, just go back and rewatch it.
Yeah,
There's a lot of gold.
Well, so you see a lot of the tie down duties and scripts you do to get these people there. Okay. We're at the appointment now, they've shown up. How are you conducting your buyer consultation so that you are getting them to sign that? They're excited to sign a buyer broker agreement with you. Who wants to start?
Real short version, I spend anywhere from about an hour with the client to an hour and a half. Couple things I do is we have a very specific, it's called the buying experience. It goes through everything. It goes through, first what I talk to them about is why we're so passionate about the home buying experience. And the reality is that what's that place called? They do a survey every 3 years. Census, the Census Bureau does a survey every 3 years. And the average homeowner, it has a net worth of about $300,000. The average renter has a net worth of about $6,000. There's a massive delta. And then I go through and show them the 3 things that actually creates that gap and how every year that will help them create the wealth that they're looking for. Why it's.
So yeah, so that's okay. So you're actually doing a presentation where you show them the value and real numbers of what homeownership will do for their financial network.
Based on what their price point they're looking at. So if they're looking at 600,000, I will literally do the numbers based on 600,000.
I love it.
So I didn't go into the market, so I talked to them about the market. So whatever market they're planning on looking in, Sean Kukowski came up with a really good buyer consultation years ago. He's an old OG KW guy. And one of the things that I took this piece from him is that he uses a buyer consultation to help guide his buyers into how he wants them to act during the process, right? So when I say that, for instance, the market information, if I have 6 categories, I put the name, what the market's at, I do list price to sales price. So if you're looking at Thomas and list price to sales price is 101.5, the conversation I'm having with you is, hey, John, gosh, I want to share with you what's happening in the market. One of the first things that we're going to look at is the kind of market temperature, list price, sales price. And right now in the Thomas area is 101.5%, meaning that sellers, when they put their home on the market, are typically getting more because everyone wants a deal, right? And the clients are like, I'm gonna offer less. I'm like, dude, you're getting shit in this market, offer less, right? So I literally say to them, so if there was a house, hypothetically, $100,000 house, it's not gonna make sense to offer 95,000. So I'm getting them to act in the manner that I want them to understand that we're not gonna make low offers, right?
Yeah.
I also talk to them about months of inventory. I go through the inspections, the different types of negotiations, and then I'll actually bust out a sample RPA. So if you print in cardboard, you can actually print the sample. I have it pre-highlighted and I highlight it to what strengthens your offer, and I go through it with you. So that's a pretty lengthy piece of it. Here's how you can make your offer stronger. Here's how you can make your offers weaker. Let me go through that with you. So I guide them through how we can strengthen their offers, what contingencies are with that.
And so you're really using this section of your buyer consultation to try and set expectations of how you write offers. So you're not going through this. So a lot of agents I know use the market to kind of beat up their buyers to get them to convince them why they should offer more. And half the time they get pissed off at you and they go somewhere else because you didn't tell them ahead of time that the market's this way and you can't offer low, right?
If you don't set expectations in anything in life, if the expectations aren't crystal clear and you're not providing, I listen to, or I always say, right, what's in it for me? What's in it for them? Why is that so? Explain the why behind it so that you're just not throwing just information right now that they don't understand. Why is that important? And then you're trying to tell them and they don't understand it. No one wants to be told. However, if they understand the reason behind it, they're going to act accordingly.
I tell you, that's a real value of agents. When you talk about consultation, what you provide now with social media and the internet, they can find all the information. They can find all the information they want to. Your value is, I know why it's that way. I can explain things. I can consult you on why the market is showing up that way and how you need to respond to it, right? Yeah.
So I talk about the different different inspections we recommend. And I tell them, if I'm negotiating with the seller over this, one of the things we gotta make sure we understand is that when we get an inspection done, we're looking for the major stuff, the health and safety items, the things that are gonna.
So you're not making them, you're trying to set expectations about reasonableness when they're asking for a repair, right?
We're not gonna ask for GFCIs, you change that out, I got a guy for it, right?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. I think one of the biggest things I like the most is, I go through an ABC buyer, which one are you? Have you use it? So I let them decide what type of buyer they want. So I let them know, hey, I work with a multitude of buyers and I want to make sure my communication intensity is matching what you're expecting and what you want. So A buyer is someone who needs to move within the next 30 days, maybe 45, but we need to find you a place quick. Right. B buyer is someone who is not necessarily pre-approved, they're kind of starting to get in there and we could be in the next 3 months. And then a C buyer is, hey, if I find the right place or just the perfect house pops up, I'm fine. Yeah. Now this Mr. Buyer can be fluid, meaning that you can change from a C to a B and a B to an A. However, I want to make sure that my intensity is matching what you're expecting. What would you say you are? and I actually have them check it inside. And then I'm presenting with that. And then the other thing, this is the.
And to follow up that, I mean, I helped you categorize them.
Mhm.
Do you tend to find that they move up to 8, they go to 8 automatically, or
Yeah.
they just push themselves up?
And then I can have conversations to them, hey, you said you're an A buyer?
Yeah.
You kind of act like a B buyer.
It's fine, as you said, you're A.
Yeah, so you're not, you're missing on our shoulders, right?
Yeah.
And then the last thing is, I always go through and I have my buyers rate the homes. So if I'm showing out 5 homes, I first say, hey, look, I'm going to show you homes and we're gonna go out and look at houses. What I want you to do is, first off, please, if you walk into a home, you get that feeling, right? Like, you know, like, this home's crap, I'm never gonna live here. Tell me that,
Tell me.
it's not gonna offend me, and we'll just get out of here,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because there's no point in us looking at it.
Yeah.
Cool, so I said that, and then everyone, I got a printout, and after everything I say, if it's okay with you, John. What I'm gonna do is, after every showing, I'm gonna ask you if you'd like to put an offer on this house or not. If no, that's okay, but what it does is it helps me understand what I'm bringing you, what I'm sending you, so I can tighten that up for us, cool? Just give me a reason why. Then, in addition to that, what we'll do is we'll rate this, a 1 through 10, can't you say? Okay, cool, so then what that does is now I'm consistently putting in their mind, do you wanna write it off? After every showing, you wanna write it off? In addition, after I've showed them 5 or 6 homes, hey, we went through 5 or 6 homes, there was one that you rated a 9, and everything else you rated a 6, this house is pretty cool, you like it? What about putting an offer on that? Right, so it saves me time, so I'm not showing 50. So, and I also, sorry, I got.
Keep going.
I also tell them, I let them know, hey, when I'm kind of wrapping it up, I say, hey, also, just to let you know, I don't want you to feel weird. I've shown buyers 1 home where they made an offer on, and I've shown buyers more than that. So what the reason I'm telling you this is, I want you to understand that if we go out and this is the first home that you see, and I did my job really well, I don't want you to be afraid that they'll come out, it's the right house, we can cancel the other showings, if that makes sense. And I've helped people and shown people more than one to help them before they get.
And I wanna note that, if you're gonna be a buyer heavy agent. And you're gonna have a lot of buyers, just know, it takes more time to handle buyers than it does listings. And so you have to be very cognizant of your time that you spend per buyer. Otherwise, you're not gonna have it, you're not gonna be able to carry enough buyers, so. If you're really good at it, you're probably shopping with 8, 10 buyers maybe, and you're going like full-time last showing. So if you're gonna get to that level where you want that kind of transaction level, you're gonna have to put them in contract very quickly. Few showings into contract, that way it gets them off that showing wheel and into just a normal contract, right? So.
And if you don't set the expectation at your buyer consult, don't set the expectation up front. I've always set a buyer consult, because it allows me to do that. So that I don't have to waste my time. Oh yeah, dude, you put you an open house, you like me, I like you, like we're in energy, like awesome, let's go see another house. No,
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 So when are you introducing the buyer broker agreement?
right after that.
right after, so you do all that, ABC, introduce buyer broker.
Okay.
How do you introduce it? How do you introduce it?
Yeah, hey, John, you know what, we had a lot of conversation, and I'm doing trial closes.
Yeah.
Hey, does this sound like a plan that was pretty good? Hey, John, sounds like, I'm excited, are you excited?
Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, that's nice, man.
Yeah,
I like that, they both really number you.
Yeah, you got a team,
Yeah.
So, all we have to do now is take care of the paperwork and for you to hire administration, let me go through that.
And you don't have objections.
Huh?
Do you have objections?
I've had objections, more questions. All the objections can be handled through knowing your buyer broker agreement at a super high level. They say, I don't wanna work with you for that long, hey, that's cool. Cool thing is we have cancellation clause. If I'm not doing what I promised I'd do for you, write me a letter, right? Well, I don't wanna pay for, I don't have that extra money, hey, no problem. Right here, I can ask the seller to pay for my commission, but know that we're agreeing to this submission piece in case they don't. And also here, I checked this box where, you know what, gosh, I'll call the agent before we go see the house and see if their seller's offering some type of commission compensation. So you don't have to worry about it. And if that's not the right house because you can't afford it, hey, that's okay, we'll find you another one. everything can be handled by knowing that fire village.
Jake, I have a question. With that being said, in my mind, if they cannot, I have a buyer right now that she just has no money. I mean, she's just, I mean, it's tight. And we've been looking at homes, and what I've noticed, not only one day, we've looked. But what I'm going with this conversation is that I have talked with her about, instead of buying a $350,000, $400,000 home, how about a 350? Because then there lies that she's got a little bit of wiggle room. In other words, then she does have a little bit of money to pay. See what I'm saying? Now, is that something that you think about and talk with your buyers, or do you just let them, they're pre-approved for 400 and that's what we're going for?
First thought that comes to my mind
That's
is, one is I'm never concerned about if they can pay or
Well,
not. And I'm not saying you're a great agent, right? But my thing. would be-
she's concerned. I don't care. I mean, I'll
My
work it
thought
out.
is if she's that tight, my first thought, right, is she in the right place right now to be purchased? That's my first thought. Second thought is yes, go down, have that conversation of dropping her purchase price amount. She's approved for the 400. What we can do is we'll have room to go above should there be bidding wars in this situation.
Correct.
And that's pretty common.
Correct.
So that is my thoughts around that.
Okay.
And yeah, that's kind of where I would think it.
Okay,
And there's other ways to strengthen the offer too.
absolutely,
About that.
absolutely.
Uh,
She's freaked out over it. I'm not. Let me just say it that way.
So totally better right off the bat.
That's great. To be honest, and here's the thing too, to be honest, that's exactly what I told her just yesterday.
And it probably.
The time is now.
If I'm very honest, it probably is. So,
Yeah.
We just talking with someone about that today.
Okay, Rich, I know you do it a little differently, so how do you do your buyer consults then?
Yeah, I don't do either.
Okay,
Do that,
do that.
do that. Like I said to start, is people, yeah, people buy things from who they know and trust. And they'll never remember what you do, but always remember how you do it. When we step into a buyer consultation, right, strategy session, whatever you wanna call it, right, meeting, whatever. I don't like that appointment word. So you say, hey, thanks for coming in, we're excited to see you here today too, we're talking about the buying process. Before we get to that, if we find that we are in alignment to reach our goal together, we're gonna go ahead and sign this at the end, okay, say we're working together, fair enough? Put that down with a pen next to it, keeping them used to the pen.
Ah,
I go to every listing appointment with a pen in my hand.
That's NLP.
Hey, got it, right? But I preface it by saying, hey, you know, by the end of this, we're gonna find out if we're gonna work in alignment together or not. If we're not, I have another great agent I can give you that'll work well with you, right? If you're gonna put it back in their court saying, you can say no. You're a human being, we can all say no to anything we want, right? So I preface it with that. We have our buyer consultation packet, introduce ourselves. We put our testimonials in there, and this one always gets a laugh, I like making people feel good, right? So we go over, hey, I'm a veteran, this is what I do, we help over 800 families, John did this is where he cut his teeth, here's our agents, here's this, boom, boom, boom. Here's the testimonial page. I only put the good things people say about me, it's only about 4 or 5, so. You know how you feel. Get a laugh every time, it gets eases the pressure of the conversation of a meeting. Say, hey, we're humans too. We're humans too. And so giving them that human quality, that human touch, they're like, oh, I can let my hair down, right? Roll the sleeves up, we can get dirty together. So we go over the buying process, contingencies, those kinds of things. We're like, all right, cool. Like, it's really not to that level at all, right? We just go over, hey, I remember you said you want this. Did you have time to talk with Nick to get that pre-approval going so we can start shopping this weekend? Or do we need to revisit that and get you pre-approved now?
So you meet with them even though they haven't done that approval process, even though you've already kind of given them, hey,
Well,
call
here's
us,
another
get
thing.
it done.
This is why,
Okay. Thank you.
Because in our consultation, if you're not asking for referrals, what are you doing? So during the process we're going is they're gonna sign that buyer broker agreement. I'll talk about the main objection we have.
We go through that, say, hey, how are we feeling about working together? Cool, we'll go ahead and sign this. And by the way, I know we're gonna go get pre-approved with Nick. And check this out, doesn't work right now, we're gonna get you a game plan so you are in a position to buy. If not, right, because we run into that. Hey, out of curiosity, who do you know that might be interested in buying a home or selling that I can call today? I literally had an appointment on a Friday or Thursday, and I got a buyer referral the next day. I'm asking our sellers in the same appointments, hey, out of curiosity, who else do you know that might be looking to buy a home or sell a home today that I can talk to? Asking for referrals every time. So it doesn't matter if that person can buy tomorrow or in 12 months, because we've already built that relationship just by making them laugh about a stupid testimonial trip. Right? Like it really does go a long way when they're able to smile. But then you can get referrals out of it too. They feel good, they're signing. We're rocking and rolling, we find that, get them pre-approved. I talk about, hey, I need you to drive by these properties before we go look at them, because I wanna make sure that we're not wasting time. Going back to the Saturday, how many Saturdays we'll spend it, right? I'd rather be spending another Saturday in 4 weeks or 5 weeks celebrating your victory. Right? And that's another thing I bring up in the consultation is, hey, you know what? All of my clients love to win. How do you like to win? And everybody loves to win. Great, then I think we're working well together, right? Is there anything I'm missing? Et cetera, et cetera. When it came to, I've had one objection with the buyer broker. One, and it was for $1 million cash purchase. I know I tapped in here before about this conversation. And the buyer, very affluent, $1 million cash purchase. And we write 2.5% down. And Lawrence was like, hey, Rich, I see that it says this here. What if the seller's only offered 2%? And I said, you know, that's a great question. To be honest with you, you would totally be due to pay me that other 0.5%. I'll tell you what I'm going to do with it. If that does pop up where they're offering less, we're not even close to it. If you can promise me that I'll get every buyer referral or seller referral in the next some odd years, you have my word that I will not go after. That's a trust conversation. Right? And he signed. I don't care if it's 2% or 1.75%. If I'm getting $1 million referrals, what does it matter?
It's the goodness.
Right.
It's coming from contribution.
He wouldn't have signed that if I didn't build trust
That's
in the
exactly right.
consultation. I had already went to work for these folks. They told me they were on our the Rivers listing. Came to our open house. Follow up on the open house, right? We follow up. Fortune is where?
Follow up.
Perfect, great. I want to make sure we all heard that again. So I talked with the wife and they wanted specific that area. I said, hey, Ilana, why don't you go by? You walk the neighborhood every day or you ride your bike. Go get me a list of all the houses you could see yourself moving into. She sent me that list. I went and door knocked every single door. I called her when I was out there. Hey, do you need anything right now? She's like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm starting my door knocking. I was curious if there's anything that was missing on this list. Went door knocked everybody, told them how many people I talked to, what they said, what their game plan was, right? And they came in and signed the contract.
If I can add to that, couple things. So, a good way to get people to get pre-approved is me personally. We're gonna have, everything's about what works for you, right? Me personally, my time, I don't give up on pre-approved people. Okay? So what I will do though is I will have a conversation. Sometimes it's a referral from a friend up there. But what I said is, hey, Mr. Meyer, here's what I need you to do. Is I'm gonna put you into a group text with our lender. He's fantastic, you're gonna love him. And what's gonna happen is I need you to talk with him and do what we call a pre-approval. What this is gonna do is it allows us to work backwards. Okay, so the purpose of your conversation with them is to figure out a payment that makes sense for you and your family. And that you're comfortable paying, and then it'll allow us to have a really great conversation when we meet, because we'll know what type of home, what price point you're shopping at. Fair? Cool. When can you get that done by? Can you get it done by noon tomorrow? Because I'll follow up with you at that point. So I make sure that people are getting pre-approved. That's my jam.
This is great, it's two totally different
Yeah, I want to
approaches,
see different
but
styles
look
and then we'll
at
get
the
there.
success,
And we have high
right?
success rate in
Yeah,
getting our
the
buyers.
success is awesome.
There's no
Yeah.
one right way.
Yeah,
There's a right methodology,
Yeah.
right, like a right kind of process,
Yeah.
I guess. And then I use it like with what we talked about with our scripts, which is memorize, internalize, personalize, right?
and that's what I want to point out. You have a
Like the
system,
thing-
a script you use,
Yeah.
how to get them from set to had, and then what you do at the had to get inside. Now, you can see different value propositions about how they operate, but so you can see it's very personalized to who they are as an agent and what value you do. So please note that. So
Here's another thing I'll add. I fight for my compensation. I believe I have a value for that. So when I say that, what is it, the things that you guys will have to start coming up with are your value propositions and get very clear and be able to express. I use the three C's: clearly, concisely, and confidently. The value proposition that you provide that is gonna earn you their commission, right? I'll give you an example of one of the things we're doing. We have it in place. So when my team meets with a buyer, we have a list of all the buyers we helped in the past 12 months. What we also have a list is we've taken if we negotiated half of escrow or if we negotiated half of title, we put those dollar and cents in the column. Whatever commission or what is it called? Concession sorts close.
So you put those in as like, we saved them this much money.
We put them in columns, right,
Yeah, yeah.
the negotiated concessions, price drops, create a total for them. Divide it by the number of clients we have.
So you average.
I think I think where we ended up at somewhere around $300,000, you can even take the full amount. So then when it comes time to ask about my compensation is, hey, Mr. Buyer, gosh, here's our per average that we help
Save
our
our
clients,
buyers, yeah.
save our buyers.
Yeah.
So you can see that I already paid for myself.
I love that.
All right, excellent.
That's brilliant.
Okay,
You that, dude.
any questions? Any questions?
That.
That's
Email me that.
Can I see that? Can you email that out, Jay? Do you have that in a PDF?
We're working on it. We don't have it completed just yet.
That's fair.
It's, again, all it is, right? And hell, it could be a thing that Mark was
Yeah,
saying.
Yeah, we do it out of our.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, virtual assistants, we pulled up the concessions, the price drops, and then we just put it and came up with a total number divided by the number of buyers. Here's what we're
Gotcha.
saving for our people, and we just make it cute. I mean, make it to your brand, make it cute, well flyer. But when I'm showing them those numbers, right? When I know my stuff in the consultation, I know the consultation like the front and back of my hand, right? How I find you properties, right? How I actually do it. I'm not that agent that's gonna finish this, go set you up on the MLS strip, and then you call me when you see a property that said, that's bullshit. You're not servicing your clients the right way.
Yeah.
You're not. I'm calling my people. I'm calling my other agents I have relationships with. I will call the neighborhood. I personally will circle prospect. Hey, we have a buyer that's looking for your home in your area. Out of curiosity, who do you know that's thought about selling? What about yourself? Right? I'm gonna do the extra things needed to help find my buyer a property. And I'm very passionate and confident when I'm just taking that and talking to them about that, right? I'll call expireds. We take our list of expireds and say, yo, hey, I have a buyer looking at Folsom. I saw your house came off the market and we brought you a right offer. Would you be interested? Yeah, but I'm doing the extra stuff. If you're not, and you're not, I earn my
It's the value.
money.
Yeah, you see how he's showing value to the buyer and saying, I do these things extra to find you the home, right? So
I actually that's the type of energy I talk to them with too, is look, hey, here's what and I'm very confident because I can back that up with what I do, right? So I think that having your value prop again, clearly, concisely, confidently,
And I want to back that up. If you're having trouble saying something confident about value proposition, it's probably because you don't even trust yourself to do that work. To back practice. Or practice that value proposition. So sometimes if you're looking at your value proposition, you gotta realize I need to change some of my stuff, that what I do when I work with a buyer. To make sure that it lines up with what my value.
here's what I'll tell you guys too. This is hilarious too. I mean, and this has been, a month, 2 months ago. one of my partners on the team came up and he's like, dude, we had a great buyer consult. And you know how many times that I've heard a buyer say nobody's ever has done that with me?
Yes.
Okay.
I
Like,
believe it.
Often.
you gotta be the ones who change and who are the ones who change in there. Everyone else is gonna get out.
That's the thing, if you don't do it this level, think about what Jake's doing, we're gonna get to a world in July where things change potentially.
I'm
And there's Jake's and Rich is doing these kind of appointments and you're not,
I'm confident I'll
You
smoke.
could be a
well, who's gonna get the buyers, right? Who's gonna get the buyers? So I just want to.
I'm
You could
super,
coordinate all your buyers and sellers.
I'm confident I can smoke pretty much about 99% of each in the marketplace when it comes to a presentation.
When,
Not Steve,
something that,
not anyone in here.
Out there,
Right?
out
something
there.
Jake just mentioned about knowing your buyer consultation, this consultation, like front back of your head. If you are not practicing, then you take one of your days. We have 7 of them every week. And you take one of your days and you go freaking practice. You go practice. Right? If you're not confident, you're not gonna be able to speak to that. You're not gonna speak with conviction, and your buyers and sellers are gonna feel that. So take the time and go be a professional.
That's what I'm saying, if you master it, it should be like, you drank too much the night before, you have a hangover, you're having this, you're showing the point with 50% of the energy you normally have. And because you're so master scripted at, the buyers don't even notice the difference, right? That's how master you need to be on your buyer points. And if you're not, then you're always gonna struggle in those points, right? So. Okay, any questions before we wrap up?
I have a question.
Yeah.
It's not about the the job of their handling expertise. So a lot of the stuff that you talked about is like people complaining about interest rates and such with their first time home. What about, like, I think what I'm facing a lot is people who already have a home that is purchased 10+ years ago, but they have like great rates embedded on, and they don't love their home though, they want a different home, but they're not willing to give up those things. But it's obvious that they have.
So, going back to the motivation. Go back to the feeling. Look, I get it, I'm at a 2.25. I'm not selling because I don't ever need to. I got it. Is there opportunity, number one, for them to keep that house? And be an investor now and build wealth and continue that? They make money as a landlord, having a tenant, can they still buy? Right? So worst case scenario, they end up moving back to that property, which they already do. That's one way to look at it. Another thing, if their equity's tied up in that, but they do want to sell or need to sell, talking to them about the feeling aspect. What's the reason we are even talking today? If we brought you an offer, would you sell? Right? Jake?
Just, again, digging on it, you know, if someone said that to me, I totally understand. Let me ask you something. What specifically, so is it the payments that I'm hearing you're talking about, so making sure it makes financial sense, yeah, so because it may make financial sense, like Rich said, is if they keep it. I just sent I got a guy also. And we were talking, he's a past client, he wants a new house, wants a bigger home, exact same thing, but he was super cheap on his house. And he's got a low interest rate. I'm like, Josh, dude, have you thought of renting this place, cash flowing it, taking the difference that you're gonna have on a mortgage versus a normal? Let's not get into the 2s and 3s because that was government inflated, right? That was government induced.
Yeah.
5% is really a low force, right? I said, if you can make up that difference in cash flow and rent and keeping that as a rental, hey, let's look at that. So I sent him rental comps on his property. And when I followed up with him, actually I followed up with him yesterday, just had a conversation, like, yeah, I never thought about that, but seeing the rental comps, see, he had a place in Folsom, so he's like $4 grand. Yeah. And he owes 300 on it, he's like, we'll talk more about it, but that's an option. The other thing is, sometimes it's not gonna be right. Here's what I'll tell you. Here's what I'll share with you. The people are gonna win in future markets, right? Because the market's high interest rate right now, just what it is. You'll see it go up and down. I've been doing it 22 years. But the people who will win when it changes, you'll find the people who need and who are motivated to supplement you right now. And then think of how big of a freaking pipeline you're gonna have if it doesn't make sense for them. But what I do is I try and get in front of them. Here's what the National Association of Realtors says, that 78% of people work with the first agent baby. So my job, whether I'm gonna sign it or not, is I just wanna get in front of them. Hey, let's take a look at it. Hey, if it makes, and I'm a straight up shooter with people. Hey, if it makes sense to talk more on it, totally understand. We can do that. If it makes sense for you to wait, I'm not gonna blow smoke up your ass. I'm gonna tell you that we should wait and we'll stay in contact.
So that's what I want you to know, that mindset of like everyone you meet, I know a lot of you want business now, but if you look at everyone as a future client, and I just need a relationship with them that I can maintain, when it gets down to 5 or 4, suddenly you blow up because you have those relationships where those other agents can't grab them, right? And so that's the thing.
Yeah, about that. Okay. Who here brushes their teeth every day?
Let's hope so.
If you don't,
Twice,
if you
three
don't, I
times.
recommend you do.
Tons,
Okay.
tons.
There's this nasty thing called commission bread.
Yeah.
And if you're not lead generating, where you're A, B, and C list, where you got 10 people in your pipeline on the A, 20 in your B, whatever that looks like, right? So you're making money, that one conversation, I'm not gonna tie up all my time. I'm gonna give them opportunity, I'm gonna go meet with them, talk about different strategies, whether it's renting it out, buying something else that makes more sense for their family, if it's financially responsible to them. But if you're chasing one, that's because you don't have enough lead generation to fill that bucket.
Yeah.
To fill that bucket, and you're chasing the dragon at that
Bees and
point. Hey,
seeds.
oh, right here, let me move this person forward, rather than actually providing professional and true value and a fiduciary. Right, so if you're having a problem with one, call more freaking people. Do more open houses, because they are there. The people buying and selling right now need to.
And I wanna note that typically a market, you see this, and that's why we had a 40% decline in listings. Typically, the market, 60% of people who sell a home in America need to sell. Divorce, death, transfer, something happens where they have to sell. 40% is, I want to, it's, and I wanna get bigger. So think about that, 60% is still happening no matter what. So if there's a big need, identify their need, and if the need is powerful, that's how you know their motivation.
Yeah, and I think too is it's just really becoming really well versed in conversation around markets, around situations. Because I've got people right now where the 7.3, they can swing it. It's a slightly tight, but they know it just from history. I'm not projecting this, I'm not a.
Say it, I know what you're gonna say, say it.
Yes.
Say it.
But they know from historically number wise that it's gonna get more competitive.
Yep.
Once interest rates drop and once.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
So they're willing to be able to make it a little uncomfortable now. And then when things, and I never, like, I hate that saying, it's the worst saying in my life. You guys use it, I'm sorry, but I cannot stand saying marry the house, date the rate.
No, I don't say that.
Biases people.
No.
Because what happens, they don't ever come down.
Yeah.
Right, what if rates never came down and this was the new normal and then they got to protect, who knows, right?
But you
But
married the rate too.
that's why I was.
Polygamy is illegal in California.
And so that's what I would say is I have two things, is if it makes financial sense and if it improves.
Have you ever shown them the difference between, okay, so the rate 7 and 0.125 today, and you're offering 400,000, what happens when that rate goes down to 6% and you're offering 440,000? What happens to your down payment? What happens to everything then, or 450, or whatever, how crazy it got back then? It's like, it's pretty much the same.
A lot of times we'll show, okay, rates are, appreciates expected in California to go up 6% this year. So you think it's a bad market, it's 7% interest rates, and the value of homes are still gonna get more expensive as we go. So when do you think it's a good time to buy? Because you think the shoe should have dropped? The shoe should have dropped last year.
Numbers go.
It did drop. It did drop. You had 3 months, we had 3 months where it dropped back
Look
up.
at the money you're losing.
It dropped like 3%.
Yeah.
Okay, we gotta wrap up, but I do
Not quick, we say one
Yes.
thing.
I love
Yeah,
it.
go ahead.
You gotta be a true fiduciary to your client. Not as good wood for you. I don't care what bills you have to pay. At the end of the day, if it doesn't work for them, you gotta be fiduciary. And that goes back to Rich's point, having more people. I'll give you an example. Right now, I'm working on, I got a one seller duplex. Her son's out, but she's asking me, what,
Someone
should
like
I
mine?
sell my duplex or should I hang on to it for 2 years, because that's when her timeline is. So I'm gonna run some numbers today for her, where I break down what projected appreciation looks like for if she waits 2 years. What happens now if she sells, what happens if she appreciates and now she has to pay 1031 on the appreciated value, what rent she has. So I'm gonna do a full breakdown and then just give her data and see what makes sense. But I'm just a huge proponent. I used to count my numbers, I used to count my commissions. And once I just started.
And that's what I wanna know, on the buyer broker commission, if you're worried about how you're gonna get paid. The great thing is they'll service the client and you'll get paid.
Exactly.
The pay will happen, the value will,
I
that will happen,
I
right?
literally stopped looking at the commission and the money,
Yeah.
my second year in.
We
And
talked about
isn't
practice, what Jake just hit there too, you do that one time for one client, you have knowledge.
Yes.
Yeah.
So every other conversation you have, hey, I know how to do this now. It might take you an hour and a half to do that the first time, and 30 minutes the next time, and then you're doing it in 10.
Thank you, everyone. Hey, was that awesome?
Yeah, awesome.
I just wanna put out, we do have a guest from Quite Frankly, she is having they're doing a buyer seminar